Sup Youtube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and first of all, happy holidays to everybody out there. And as you probably knew already, this episode is about CaKE. Say what? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Well, I'm not talking about pie or anything, because CaKE actually stands for Cobalion, Kyurem and Electrode, which is a nickname they gave to this deck that emerged out of the Noble Victory set. So how does it work? Well, I already made an episode about each and every one of the separate cards of this deck, so I won't go over them again. I'll just explain what this deck is capable of. Okay, let's begin. This deck loves to get a collector start because you want to get out Electrode Prime on your second turn by getting out Voltorbs on your first turn. Why? Well, as most of you knew already, Electrode Prime has a Poké-Power, and that Poké-Power states once during your turn you may use this power. If you do, Electrode Prime is knocked out and your opponent can take a prize card for that. Whoa, wait, why is this actually good? It just helps you lose, that's it. Well, not really. When you've done that, you can look at the top 7 cards from your deck, choose as many energy cards as you like and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, and discard the other cards. Now that's better, because with a second turn Electrode that blows himself up, you can build up your Cobalions and Kyurems really easy. And then most of the time you'll be able to attack on your second turn with the second attack of Cobalion or the second attack of Kyurem, which is really devastating for your opponent, because Kyurem can easily sweep the bench of your opponent within the upcoming 3 turns, and then you'll be able to pick a lot of prize cards really fast. And Cobalion is in this deck just for some variation and to stop heavy retreaters like Magnezone Prime from attacking with his attack Iron Breaker. And the good news is that you can easily manipulate your deck to actually work in your favor when you're standing behind in prize cards. You can easily use cards like Twins to help you search your deck for specific cards. Also, Junk Arm and Super Rod work incredibly well to get back your resources. And then we have Research Record, which hasn't seen a lot of tournament plays lately, but with Electrode Prime it'll really come in handy because you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck and put them back in any order on the top of your deck, or you can choose cards and put them back on the bottom of your deck in any order. That's just really great and easily to use for your advantage to get more energies into play when you use Electrode Prime's Energy Might. And it's also nice to save certain cards from being discarded as well. And you should also consider running Cleffa because he'll be great when you have a terrible hand. And the last card I think that will really fit in here is one Shaman, just because he has a Poké-Power to switch around energies when one of your Pokemon gets captured. Then that way you can attach the energies to your active Pokemon and still be able to attack even without using switch. But if you're up against a trainer like that, that's the thing you want. You want to have one Shaman. And then we have the usual stuff like Communication, Catcher, PONT, and maybe even Chiron or something. Just some good cards to get out cards out of your deck. And the tool card that will really fit perfectly in here is that Eviolite. Since your main attackers are all high HP basics, you can even keep those alive much longer with Eviolite. And then this deck usually runs 4 Rainbow Energies, 4 Metal Energies, 4 Special Metal Energies, and 4 Water Energies. As you can see, this deck runs lots of energies, 16 to be exact, just because when you use Electrode Prime's Poké-Power you don't want it to fail or something. That's why 16 energies is all you need. And there are Rainbow Energies in here because after Electrode Prime used as a Poké-Power and you attach a Rainbow Energy, that way you don't put 1 damage counter on your Pokemon. You don't have to do that, only when you attach it from your hand, so that's a good thing. Another great thing is the Special Metal Energies, because that way you can tank up your Cobalion. Imagine yourself a Cobalion with an Eviolite and 3 Special Metal Energies. Wow, you have to attack for 170 damage to knock it out, and that's basically it for this deck analysis. Now to Poké-News. Well, last week's Poké-News was so long that I've got over most recent news so far, but there's still a bit of news left. First off, there's the 5th Japanese Black and White set. It'll be called Dragon Blade and Dragon Blast, and it's very similar to Psycho Drive and Hill Blizzard, meaning the set is split up in 2 subsets, and it'll be released in Japan on the 16th of March. And there will be new EX cards in there, as well as probably the Dragon type Pokemon we talked about, because there will be a new type in our format, meaning Dragon type Pokemon. So the Dragon type Pokemon we used to know, like Dragonite or something, won't be the usual normal type. They'll be have a type of their own, the Dragon type. And I don't know yet which Pokemon will have a resistance to this type or which weakness these dragons are gonna have, but we'll probably know that in the near future. We also know that there will be 2 30-card decks coming out with the set, just like our trainer kits in our store, and it'll feature Heydragon and Garchomp. And there are also news about a new set coming out on the 20th of April, meaning no more Black and White set, it's something new. It'll be called Beginning Set, which will contain Pokemon from all regions, which I really like because we'll have much more older Pokemon that'll get an EX form, but more information about that isn't available. And the last news of this episode is pretty exciting because it'll be an English release. There will be a Mewtwo collection box coming out on the same day of the release date of our new set, Next Destinies, meaning on February 8th, and it'll include a Jumbo Mewtwo EX card, a holographic Battle City promo card, which is a stadium card that lets both players flip a coin once during their turn, and if heads they can draw a card. And then you also have a Mewtwo figurine in this box, and of course 3 boosters of the set. And no, there won't be any normal sized Mewtwo EX in this box, otherwise it would be so easy to get these Mewtwo EXs, unfortunately. But I've read that Mewtwo EX is already 40 bucks if you want to pre-order it online, which is simply crazy. And that's just the beginning. The shinies will even cost more when they come out, so we'll probably go back in time, just like the time where Gold Stars were out and EXs, which is really cool but really expensive as well. And that's it for now, but since this is a Christmas special, I'll do something special. How ironic. So I'll be talking about Pokemon that have something to do with Christmas: Delibird, Stantler, and Jinx. So those are probably the only ones that come up in my head when I'm thinking about Christmas-based Pokemon. There may be more, so if you know some Pokemon that have something to do with Christmas, just place them in the comment section, and maybe we can discuss them later on. So let's talk about Delibird. Well, Delibird is all about Christmas, isn't he? He has the same colors just like the outfit of Santa. He always carries a bag with him to carry around presents, and as we know in the game, he also knows an attack called Present, which is probably the only Pokemon in the game that can use that attack. I could be wrong though if you're counting in Metronome and stuff, but still you can't deny that this Pokemon is a Christmas-based Pokemon. For those of you who played Pokemon Stadium 2 in the days will probably agree with me, because there was a mini game revolving around Delibird, and you could collect presents, and the better the present was, the more points you scored. It was really funny and it reminded us of Christmas. Next up is Stantler, which doesn't actually have anything to do with Christmas, but I've seen some pictures where Stantlers wear reindeers and Christmas sleigh. They're really funny, so I thought I'd share that information as well. And lastly, Jinx. There was an episode back in the days that revolved around Christmas, and where Team Rocket tried to steal Santa Claus because Jessie was convinced that Santa Claus was actually a Jinx, but that wasn't true. And then Ash and the others came to save the day once more. And an interesting fact is that Jinx used to have a black skin instead of purple skin, but the reason they changed that is because they thought it was racist, but I don't see how a Pokemon could be that racist. Anyway, if you haven't checked that out yet, you should probably go to Google or something and type in Jinx. You'll probably see 2 versions of it, a purple one and a black one. And I believe that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed the extra Christmas facts, as well as the deck analysis and Poké-News. And if you did, click the like button, because you know I always appreciate that. And for those of you who haven't subscribed yet, you'll get the chance at the end of the video. That way you'll stay tuned for more episodes, battle videos, openings, and more stuff revolving around the Pokemon trading card game. Once again, Merry Christmas to everyone, and this was ZapdosTCG. Thanks for watching. Till next time.